Welcome to the Inspired Connection. I am so happy that you are here. Truly, this is the place to build your true potential. It is about fueling your purpose, building your passion, building your authenticity and your strategic action to create purpose to profits, to align your purpose with your profit.
Hi there. Welcome. Carolyn here of the inspiredconnection.ca. And I have an interview today with Felecia Etienne, and she's having connective issues. So I'm just going to continue here and share with you some of the elements that she is so purposeful and passionate about. But before I go into that, I will watch to make sure that if she's coming in here, is that I am a passionate mindset coach, business strategist, and motivational speaker. I've had the honor of serving businesses around the globe for many, many decades. And I love what I have the opportunity of doing in my service. And I lead masterminds as well as VIP days for businesses that want to take a deep dive, spend a whole day in doing their vision, their strategic planning, and to create those intentional actions within their business to create success. So this interview series was created because I truly know that a lot of businesses have, bought themselves a job and they really don't like their boss, meaning themselves, and that they've created a lot of struggle for themselves. And my experience is that people who lead from their purpose and their passion and their authenticity create meaningful success. So that strategic planning, that positioning, that marketing and invitation is linked to core values. And it's our core values that we make decisions from. And that's what creates our success, is our decisions. So in this interview today, if Felecia manages to make it here, one of her significant, I think, inspiring positions within her business is she faced, she is here. Look at that. She made it. Excellent. Welcome to the stage, Felecia.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad you could make it. So I was just telling them about you. I had the honor of being on Felecia's summit, and it was incredible. The platform, the process, and you really made a difference in a lot of people's lives with those incredible speakers. So thank you for that honor and opportunity to be there. But let me tell you about Felecia here. Felecia is a certified high performance success coach. She's a business and life strategist and Amazon bestselling author. She empowers driven professionals and entrepreneurs to achieve success on their terms without burnout or overwhelm. With over 2 decades of experience as an executive and strategic advisor to Fortune 500 companies, she's coached over 1,500 high performance leaders. And her own personal journey, which I find incredible, is that she's gone through corporate burnout to a near-death experience, which truly fueled, I know, her purpose, her mission, and her passion to help others to transform stress into growth opportunities. So, Felecia, thank you for being here today. And I really respect your courage and your willingness to take that position of being burnt out and broken to purpose and passion. So can you tell us a little bit about what that was like for you and how you repositioned yourself, recalibrated yourself to be where you are now?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. And you are a pleasure to have within the summit. Your feedback that you brought to the audience, your message really resonated. So I appreciate you so much. So it's a big story, but I'm going to condense that down. And I'll just share this. Just like so many folks that's probably listening to this, we all have different journeys, different experiences that gets us to where we are today. So when I think about mine, I was in a state of life, in the stage of my life where I thought I was the ultimate. When I tell you ultimate badass, right? Things were working for me in my mind, right? I had the kids, 2 kids at home. I had the husband, the car, the nice job. I was traveling back and forth. And not be honest to myself, I was also burned out because on the facade, I was trying to do everything for everyone and I was trying to be everything for everyone. So when the voices would come up and say, oh, Felecia, well, you might need to slow down. You might need to do this. I was like, no, I can't do that. I can't afford not to show up. I can't afford not to be the person that everybody needs. And I think a lot of us, sometimes we go through this. We think that in order for us to be valuable or to be worthy, we have to always be on and we have to always be the best of the best in everything we do. But that comes as a cost. And for me, unfortunately, it came at a cost where I found myself lying in a hospital bed in Dallas, Texas. I'm from New York, so you can imagine. Now I'm lying there trying to figure out how did I get to this point? But let me tell you, that same day, that voice came up and said, Felecia, something is not right, because I happened to be pregnant at the time. And I was like, no, I have to do this presentation. We're here in Dallas. I have to show up. So I did my presentation, push that voice down, the whole thing. And then towards the end of it, I was like, okay, we got to figure out what to do next. So I went and I talked to the leader that I was traveling with, my boss. And I was like, I think I need to go to an emergency room just to make sure everything is okay, because we're traveling back to New York. I was traveling back to New York. Everyone is from different places. But I didn't want anything to happen on the airplane. So I was like, okay, let's figure this out. She's like, so where do we need to go? And I was like, oh, I already did the research, because it was me again. I didn't want anyone to feel like a burden. I didn't want to feel like a burden. I didn't want to put any pressure on anyone else. I had to be the strong person. So I researched the hospitals and I was like, okay, so we got to go here. And then where the hotel where the event was. And I was like, she's like, do we need to get an Uber or we need to get some? I said, don't worry about that. We can just use the hotel van to the hospital, because it's not because again, I don't want to be a burden. And I'm sharing this with everyone to say there's probably a moment in your life when you are feeling this way, or you happen to be in an experience where you felt like I need to show up. And for me, that happened at that point. And then I found myself realizing that what got me here, I need to shift, because this is not sustainable. And in that journey where I had to relocate to Dallas for a duration, because my daughter's a micro preemie. So at this point, I had to relocate. I had to reevaluate everything. And I'll skip forward to tell you this. The change and shift did not happen for me. Snap your fingers. It was shifted. No, it wasn't easy. It was hard. But what I learned is that the hard, once you realize and you get perspective, that's where your edge comes. That's where you can get to your next level, because you can take that stress and you can repurpose that as the fuel that will bring you to your success. And I'll tell you that. And what got me this message is from a weird place. One day, something happened to my daughter in the hospital. They were trying to do skin to skin contact. And I was very scared about that, because I didn't want anything to go wrong. And they said, no, you got to do this. She's at this stage. You got to try. Let's do this. So we did it. And they put her on my chest. Something went wrong. The machines went crazy. First time, Carolyn, I was in the hallway bawling my eyes out. The nurse walked up. She's like, I never seen you like out of like this. What's going on? And I just broke down. And she told me this. She's like, what are you doing to take care of yourself?
Yeah.
The situation you're in is uncontrolled. There's a lot of uncontrollables, and you're trying to control everything. There's so many things we can't tell you if she's going to be okay. We can't tell you if she's going to make it. But what I'll tell you, you're not in this alone. Every single parent that's in this hospital right now is going through their own shared experience. It may not be like yours, and you think yours is bad, but guess what? Look down the hallway. Carolyn, I looked down the hallway. Guess what I saw? I saw roses, white roses on doors that I never even paid attention to. And the white roses were on the door because the baby is no longer alive.
Wow.
And they're giving the family a chance to sometimes take pictures to hold their babies, but they put that as just a way to remember and to, it just brings me back there. But I share this to say perspective. A lot of times we're going through things in our life and we don't even realize that there are other people going through worst experiences.
Absolutely.
And you need to have the level of perspective. And I learned that from the nurse. She shifted my perspective and she opened it up. And then once she'd helped me do that, then I started to reflect. And I said, whoa, there's a lot of things. And she said this, Caroline, journal. She said, get everything out. Just everything out your head. Because right now you have so many things. I can see it. So many thoughts. And you got to get real right now. Get it all out. And sometimes the basic things, Carolyn, we think is like, oh my gosh, this is so basic. What am I doing this for? Because you and I were smart women. You're like, okay, we can do something a little differently, a little more fancy because we have the tools. But the reality, that little basic thing helped me because it allowed me to put a list together and say controllables and non-controllables.
Oh, good. So I want to pause here for a minute because that's a profound statement. So what is controllable and what is not controllable, right? So your camera popped out too, just to let you know. I can hear you, but we can't see you. It's only me here. Just so you know.
This is again one of the uncontrollable.
Yeah, well, it is. And here's the piece that I want to add to this. I think that this is a dramatic story, and I know it transformed your life forever. And I think there's a level of surrender here that nurse helped you facilitate. There you are. You're back. Yay. I know it is what it is. So God bless that nurse. There's hard things in life that we have to go through, but the truth is, I know that our purpose and our passion comes from the pain, the struggle, the challenge, the obstacles we've had to overcome. And now, even more than ever, I know that is the truth. So I think, with you serving your clients, you intimately understand burnout because you lived through it and you created strategies and tools and practical processes. So can you give us a few of the recommendations that you share with your clients when the one other thing that I want to bring up here is, you mentioned it, is some people are in burnout but don't even realize they're in it. When I burnt out, I didn't even realize I was burnt out. I felt like a machine. I was very successful in sales, made bucket loads of money, bought a house at 22. I was very successful. I really learned a lot and studied and became successful, yet I burnt out. And I didn't even realize I was burnt out until I broke. So when you break, but there is a recalibration that happens. You said, it's honoring self-care. So give me just a few of your tools. Let's share it with them, okay? That you give and contribute to your clients.
Yeah. So you're so right about burnout. A lot of time it's very sneaky. It'll sneak up on us, especially for high achievers. We have the ability to keep going. So we can push it back. We can just keep the momentum going. And outside, it looks like everything is working. But inside is when we're going through the turmoil and we're going through the struggle. So the first thing I would share, as I went through this experience, I created a framework that really helped me. I call it, just to keep it from the simplicity with my clients, the CEO framework, because I truly believe that we need to be the CEO of our lives. I'm not talking about the corner office or any of that. I'm talking about you being there for your family, you being there to create the legacy you want to live within this world. What is that? And it starts with you being in the center of it, taking ownership of it. So the C is all for clarity, because at the end of the day, if we are not clear on what it is that we're trying to move the needle on, we're not clear. And I know you're passionate about this, understanding what your values are, what is fundamentally important to you, and what that looks like, we're going to continue to struggle, because burnout doesn't happen because you're working too hard. It happens because we're not working on the right things with the right amount of energy. Because why is one person burning out and the other person is not? One person is aligned with their mission, their values, so they're excited to do the work. They're excited to go all in, but the other person is misaligned, and now they're burning out because they're doing things that's not bringing any joy. And when we keep on doing things that's not bringing joy, and then we'll talk about the second layer in a little bit, which is the energy. So the second pillar I have, and I go over with my clients, is energy. At the end of the day, we always talk about, especially with high achievers, time management. They always want to talk about, how do I manage my time? How do I get all these things done? But at the end of the day, you can manage your schedule, but if you don't have the energy to show up with the vibrancy for your clients, to show up with the vibrancy for your kids, then you're not going to be excited about this life. You're not going to be excited, and that's going to lead you down the trail again of burnout. So energy is one thing that I optimize with my client as a high performance coach, is let's understand your cycle, your ultradian rhythms. What does that look like for you? When are you have the most energy? How do we optimize it? How do we create a schedule, a routine, a system? And that's something I had to learn when I went through this. We've got to operationalize our life. We've got to operationalize the things we do so that we don't even need to think about it, because our brains are lazy. Our brains wants the simplest ways to get this done, because all our brain want to do is protect us. It wants us to be safe. So the more we create routines around this, right? Blocking the time, doing all of these things, then you'll be able to get the momentum you need to go after the things you want to. So that would be the E for energy. Then the last O, you probably know where this is coming from. It's ownership.
Yeah. Accountability, ownership.
Accountability and ownership. And when I say ownership, I mean owning the intentions you bring to this. A lot of times we say we're going to do things and we don't follow through. And then what happens? We don't have integrity with ourselves. And the more you don't have integrity, the more you're not doing the thing that you're committing to doing, that you share, that you want to do, you start to create some of that friction. You start to create that energy that's pulling you in the wrong direction. And that ultimately can lead you down the street to burnout.
Absolutely. 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 And to me, energy is everything.
It is.
And when we can realize that as fact, then we can level up our self-care. I mean, I have non-negotiables. My morning rituals. It's journal, jaunt, and yoga. And if someone wants to meet me during that time, I say thank you, but no thank you. That's my boundary, because when I set my day up in that form, the entire day flows. I can be 100% present. I can have full energy. It's just a whole other experience when I have made that decision to honor myself. And in my younger years, when I did burn out, not do that. I made everybody else more important than me.
Always.
Yep. So, and I love the last piece in ownership. Unless we look in the mirror deeply, and this is what I journaled about this morning, actually, so this is really interesting, is taking that 100% ownership and accountability for everything in our life. Everything.
That's what it comes down to.
What isn't working, all of it. And what matters most? Well, it's only we know that. So we need to make those decisions, be able to say no in order to be able to create room for more yeses, and what I call make that space for grace. I mean, I know you agree with all this, and that's why I love being on your summit, to be honest with you, because you and I have these core values that are in alignment. And when you collaborate with other businesses that share the same core values as you do, is when it's a song. It's when it's an easy dance, and so much respect for each other when you understand each other and your purpose and your passion, which also creates more financial abundance and profitability with willingness to come together to collaborate. And that's what we did on your summit.
No, you're so right. It's coming together and it's really finding the through line through everyone. Like, you're all about values. You're all about helping people find their purpose with their passion. And that's something that I'm full in alignment with. One thing I want to share here just for your audience is when you think about the ownership, we want to go even deeper on ownership to see what is going to be the ownership around the systems you're going to create in your life, in your business. Because burnout, if you have an operationalized system for your self-care, for the way, so you're not doing a process repeatedly every single time. You already have a system, you have automations, you're delegating effectively. All of that comes under ownership because you are the CEO of your business. So you have to create this for yourself. And if you're a solopreneur, that's beautiful because you get to create it yourself. You get to see what are you doing? And when you are ready to hire, then you can bring in the person and then they have XYZ. They have a standard operating procedure for you to go for them to do. That's all in ownership. I just wanted to share that as well, because I think if we don't have systems, we start to burn ourselves out because we're wearing all the hats in the world.
It's exhausting.
Do everything.
It's super tiring and it's exhausting. I mean, when I made the decision to hire a virtual assistant, this is years ago, what I did is I on a piece of paper, I put on the left-hand side what I love to do, on the right-hand side what I want to let go of, what I want her to do, what frustrates me, what I'm not good at, my limitations are. And she does everything of all of those things, which creates so much freedom to focus on our zone of genius too. I think you need to invest in your business. So if you're all in your business completely, then you will feel absolutely confident to invest in those areas where you may have limitations or where you need support. Maybe it's, having someone like Felecia help you. Maybe it's being a part of my mastermind, which I just ran, which I love, in a group over 5 months and working together on creating that vision, direction, systems, processes, protocols, accountability. So I want to invite everybody here that whether you're feeling overwhelmed by your workload or maybe not even, maybe intuitively a little bit feeling like you're burning out, I want you to seek out Felecia. And she has some really great actionable strategies to enhance your well-being. So her expertise will provide you with guidance that you need. So Felecia, you popped out again with your camera. So
No, I'm still here with you. I am right here with you. I cannot control the camera, and I'm okay with that. Hey,
I am too.
It is what it is.
So I have a pace that I use all the time. It's let go to lead, because everything that is meant to happen. So I want to thank anybody and everybody who's listening.
But you gotta laugh too. You gotta smile and you gotta laugh, because life is too short to be taking all these things way too seriously.
You're here. So all Felicia's information is down below. So onward and upward, and wishing you all the most incredible success with ease and grace and lots of vitality. And thank you, Felecia, for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. And I will share with you, I have a resilient guide. I forgot to send it your way. Maybe that would add tremendous value to your audience. So I will email that to you as well, so you can share as well.
Beautiful. And I'll add it to the LinkedIn and the Facebook posts and the YouTube channel too. So thank you and take good care.
You too. Thank you for having me.